On the call.
What the hell? Kenta is in AEW. We're going to get into everything that happened in just a second. So just stay tuned. This is Elite Maniac Podcast. What's up, people? This is the Elite Maniac Podcast where we discuss all things AEW. I'm Mex, aka WrestleManiac UK. This is the co-host Mike, aka Elite News One, and we've got a really fun and interesting show for you guys today. Obviously discussing everything that happened at AEW Dynamite Beach Break last night and the emergence of Kenta into AEW. Before we get into the show, and of course we're going to answer all you guys' questions. Thanks for all the questions that you've got coming through on the Elite News One Instagram page. We're going to get to those as well later on in the show. But before we start, please make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel WrestleManiac UK, and also make sure you subscribe and follow us on your podcast platform of choice, and you're downloading and streaming Elite Maniac Podcast. And also give us a 5-star review. Let the people know that this is the AEW podcast of choice. Mike, how you doing, my bro? How's your week been?
It's been good. I'm feeling great after last night, though. How about you?
Yeah, like it was a pretty decent show, but like you said, the energy was different level once that masked figure came into the arena.
Yeah.
And after attacking Moxley with the GTS, revealed themselves to be Kenta. Absolutely
Kenta. Crazy. Go to sleep, baby.
Literally absolutely crazy. Guys, we're gonna get into the show right now. Like I said, make sure you just smash the like button for us. Mike, you want to start telling us about the show, reeling down what's gone on?
Let's do it. So we had Beach Break last night, and that was a change from last year with Bash at the Beach. I think Cody Rhodes maybe traded his trademark name to World Wrestling Entertainment for Beach Break, for Bash at the Beach. So WWE got that. We had a new name this year, Beach Break, but sort of the same concept, a winter beach show, kind of get us in the mood for the warm weather that's hopefully going to come soon. So, it was a cool set, man. I think they could have done a little more with it, but I was pumped to watch it. It was one of their specials, not really a pay-per-view, but kind of like bigger than just a normal AEW Dynamite. So I was excited to watch it. We started out immediately with this huge tag team battle royal, which is an interesting concept. The way it works is we had all these teams in, and if you got eliminated, then you could still win if your other team member was in the ring. So you kind of had two chances to become champ to win this match. Winners of the match will receive a tag team world title shot at Revolution against the Young Bucks. And we had the teams of Jurassic Express, Silver and Reynolds, MJF and Jericho, Sammy and Jake Hager, The Acclaimed, Private Party, Young Bucks, Top Flight, Stu Grayson and Evil Uno, and Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz. And there was just a lot of action in this match. What did you think about, the start of this match when everyone started flying over the rope?
Yeah, it was, these matches can often be kind of messy. But I thought it was just a typical battle royal match. Nick Jackson getting distracted by what the Good Brothers are doing on the outside. I thought, typically, I didn't even know when Matt Jackson got eliminated.
He got thrown out on the ramp. Which
who done that?
I have everything written down of who got eliminated, and I have down that. Let me just find this, everyone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I didn't even know when Matt Jackson got eliminated, so I thought, okay, they still have another chance, and I didn't see any Young Bucks in the ring or after a sudden.
It's Santana who eliminated him. He threw him out on Santana and Ortiz like tossed him onto the entrance ramp, which was interesting because I thought, is he really eliminated yet? He's not on the floor. He's on the ramp. They threw him out. So, it was up to Nick Jackson to win the match for the Young Bucks. What I have down for this match is that it was just quick elimination after elimination after elimination, really hard to keep up with. But what's important, and I thought what was interesting, was the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, of the American version of the Bullet Club came out, and they helped eliminate Mark Quinn, who is challenging with his partner Isaiah Cassidy for the Impact World Tag Team Champions, which they hold. So I guess they wanted to come out, cause some issues. At one point, it was just MJF, Jericho, Sammy, Darius Martin, Jungle Boy, and Max Caster left. That's when the match really started getting into its final moments. I thought Sammy was going to win for Jake Hager. I really thought that this was his time to shine, but that's not really what happened. We saw Jericho accidentally take out Sammy Guevara, and then Jericho and MJF eliminated their last opponent, Darius Martin, and they won the Battle Royal. So they're going to Revolution to face the Young Bucks now.
I can't say I'm interested in that match. Jericho and MJF versus the Young Bucks. I know we're never gonna get another Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Adam Page level match, but I just thought they may choose someone more interesting that could give the Young Bucks a good match. Not to say that these guys can't, but I'm just like, on paper, it doesn't look like it's gonna be anywhere near the level of Kenny Omega and Hangman Page.
No way.
I guess you gotta get Jericho and MJF on the card, don't you? So,
well, I think that Hangman and Omega are kind of used to the Young Bucks. They could probably go with them in a tag team match, obviously, and put on a really great production. But can Jericho? Can MJF? I don't know if it'll mesh well.
That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, I'm not too sure that it's going to be that good. And Jericho, it just really hasn't been that interesting as of lately. I don't know. I'm not too excited about this match either. I don't think he should have won. I feel like he's like pushing himself a little bit, maybe.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess the side story coming out of this is how Sammy Guevara feels. And if I'm being completely honest, I know the whole world right now feels so bad for Adam Page. And I get it. I feel bad for Adam Page too.
Yeah.
But I feel more bad right now for Sammy Guevara than Adam Page.
Yeah, dude, he's getting mistreated.
Yeah, he's getting mistreated. And I think, hopefully before too late, this could be the beginning of a face turn for Sammy.
I think so too. He confronted Chris Jericho in the Inner Circle after the match and was like, what the hell's going on? Like, seems like he doesn't really feel like he's a part of this anymore. And what's interesting is that, like MJF, who keeps kayfabe, Sammy does too. I've had a few interactions with Sammy on Instagram DMs, and he keeps up like this whole persona on the messages of that he's really upset, nothing's going right for him, which is it's interesting because it is going right for him. He's pretty much a star, but I just think that's cool. I just expected him to win, and there were some people that were unhappy with Chris Jericho taking that win, saying that there wasn't really any reason for him to win. I would have rather seen MJF pair up with someone else, to be honest, but what the hell?
I can see NK in the chat. Thanks for joining, NK. He said that he would have preferred Santana and Ortiz to win, and same. I literally just don't know what's going on with Santana and Ortiz right now, and why.
You know what? I'm not that big a fan of them.
Fair enough, but I think as a tag team,
they are a tag.
They haven't been used in the tag team division for the last year. Really, they've been busy. They've been busy here and there, but yeah, man.
I think they got charisma. They got heart. I'm just like not really a fan of their move sets. I don't know. There's just other teams I like better. Like I'm more of like the high flying spot type, and they're a little bit different. They're more like old school. So there are people that really like that, and I think a lot of people would have been happy with Santana and Ortiz in that. And this pegs the other question. And I don't know if you noticed this, but last week or a week before, we had that Inner Circle tag team match to determine who was representing the Inner Circle. But then we had all the Inner Circle members in this Battle Royal last night. So what was the point of that match?
I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to seem like I'm tearing apart AEW, which is
we're not.
But these are the things that it's just like you could have taken out those two other Inner Circle teams and put in, maybe even some other teams from Dark.
TH2.
Yeah.
Where they weren't even in the match, and I think they're freaking awesome.
Yeah. Let's move on. Do you want to rate this match? Do you want to give it a star rating, or did you?
I did. I gave it 3 stars. What about you?
Yeah, 2.5 for me. It was it's a standard battle royal, just a bit of fun, really. But yeah, we got the number 1 contenders out of it.
Yeah, good for an opener, but could have gone a little more. We'll leave it at that. How about that?
Yeah, that's cool.
Next, we had the Jade Cargill promo. A beast. It was her working out, kind of showing her strength, and she looks massive. Really, like she is stronger than probably 85 to 90% of the men's division, and that's not a lie. She's shredded to the bone. Like I just think she's going to dominate in this upcoming match. What's interesting is I counted the plates on the squat that she did, and I don't know if this was real weight or like what they did, but that was 405 pounds. That's serious weight. So yeah, they really showed how strong she is. So we know she's strong, but can she wrestle?
That is the question.
That's the question.
I think the promo, the vignette, it put her over big in terms of her physicality. But I think it was just a bit random. Nothing was said. It was just all video of her in the gym, which I thought could have been good, introducing us to Jade. Like, when they do, Jade is coming, like a new signee or someone coming to the show. I think it's just a couple weeks late. Like we know who she is, we know what she's about at this stage. So yeah,
they had her come when she debuted, just come out, and like no one really knew who she was. We should have done like this reverse
beforehand, exactly,
and then we would have known. But I'm still excited to see her in the ring, which we'll get to in a minute, confirmed. And that's going to be interesting to talk about because that's a big match.
Yeah.
We also had a Darby and Sting classic promo. Seems like we're doing this every week, and he didn't like it, obviously.
You can go through it before I tear it apart.
All right. So Tony Schiavone leads these interviews pretty much every week. Tony Schiavone, I guess, has become... I love Tony. He's my favorite.
He's brilliant.
He's like the leader of the commentator team, which I'm glad he deserves this after like 19 years gone in the business and really getting screwed out of WCW. They were in the ring. Sting came out to the snow. JR called him the man of the hour and how he's been calling Sting's matches since the days of Mid-South wrestling in the 80s, which I thought was pretty cool. Before Tony Schiavone even got to talking, who comes up and interrupts? Taz and Team Taz, who kind of do this every week.
Team Taz.
Taz. Yeah. I love Taz. And they dress impeccably, really. Like, they got style, these guys. They're apparently not allowed in the building that night because last week they beat up the merchandise team, which is pretty great. But they said that they are not going to take this anymore. They're sick of being mistreated by Tony Khan and AEW. Ricky got on the mic. He's sort of the mouthpiece for Team Taz now. Brian doesn't really do much talking. Will doesn't talk, and Hook has said nothing so far. He says that Sting is not an icon anymore. Says that they will be there for Darby's title match next week for the TNT Championship with Joey Janela, the bad boy. Sting gets on the mic and says, fine, but he's going to be there to back up Darby. And if Ricky doesn't think he's an icon anymore, he should look in the mirror and check again.
Yeah. Man, we are spinning our wheels until this street fight match at Revolution.
What's your problem? I'm curious, genuinely.
I just don't think, okay, so I saw someone on Twitter say that is Darby Allin's character actually being hurt by Sting since Sting arrived? And I said, no, I don't think it's being hurt, but his character isn't progressing. That's for sure. His character we haven't seen anything. We didn't even see him talk today. You see what I mean? Last week we saw Darby and Sting smashing windows in a warehouse or something like that. And then this week, this week we saw obviously Sting cut his promo in retaliation to Team Taz, but I think it's just the way it keeps happening. You know, these guys come out, and then on the Titron we get Team Taz. Like, they're not even mixing it up. Why don't we just have like 2 backstage segments, or just leave them off the show for a week? Because Revolution is maybe about 4 weeks away.
For a month away. So we got a month of time. And I agree with that last part.
Exactly. Are we going to keep doing this for the next 4 weeks? Like, just promos and it's not even like long promos where anything, any jabs are really being landed. It's the same kind of thing.
I'm sick of this shit. That's
it's literally like 1.5 minutes of the same thing. And then that's it. The segment's done.
Yeah. Okay. I will agree with that. Maybe they could leave him off TV next week, and then, we could have like 3 weeks of build. What I would do if I was the booker, and I'm not the booker, you guys know that, I would have maybe Team Taz attack Sting or Darby, injure them, quote unquote, like put a beating in them, build up that heat like that we had for Cody and MJF for Revolution, like do something more than an interview. Like maybe put a stipulation, like remember the lashes with Cody and MJF?
Yeah,
something like that, something different. But I agree. Leave him off TV for a week because we're kind of seeing the same thing. But I really liked this promo because this was the first time that I felt that Sting was acting as the mouthpiece for Darby Allin. He was the manager of Darby Allin. And when Sting signed, I said, I could care less if he goes in the ring or not. I don't care if he does what Goldberg does or all these old guys. I want him to be a manager like Jake Roberts, like Arn Anderson and Tully. I want him to be a faction leader. And I think that there's a very real possibility that they build a faction. But last night, I really felt like he was looking after Darby Allin and he took him under his wing. And that's why I like the promo. But otherwise, I agree with some of the things that you said for sure.
Yeah, I think just to move on from this, I think the one good thing that we're going to get, obviously next week, we're getting a TNT championship match between Joey Janela and Darby Allin. That's going to be a brilliant match. Those
that's going to be good.
They like to kill each other. So
yeah,
that's going to be really fun to watch. And then obviously we're going to have the dynamic of Team Taz trying to get involved and Sting protecting Darby Allin. So this is what I mean. Just mix up the dynamic a bit. It's not every week promo against promo against promo. We've got 4 more weeks until we get to the pay-per-view. I don't want to see promo against promo for 4 weeks. You see what I mean? But yeah.
I challenge them to mix it up a little bit. Do something a little bit different. They're obviously creative guys. Darby, he does these vignettes, which are just insane. Yeah. So let's make it a little bit different. And I keep going back to what was so brilliant about the Revolution last year, which is my favorite pay-per-view probably ever. I love this thing more than anything. But the MJF and Cody match, go back and watch the build-up for that. That's how you build up a match. There were stipulations, steel cage matches, like brutal stuff, and it was just it made me so excited for the match. If they do these promos, I don't know if I'm going to be that excited.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
That's exactly it. And yeah, I mean, final thing before we move on, you said that all the guys in Team Taz are well dressed, and I guess that's the truth for the majority. But apparently, Brian Cage is allergic to wearing anything on his top half of his body. So I'm not sure how we rate a man's dressing that only wears tracksuit bottoms and trunks, but we will move on anyway.
Mostly Ricky.
It is Ricky carrying it. We'll move on to Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker, which is earlier positioning in the card to what we usually see where the women's matches are, which I thought was very interesting to put it here. Let's hear your thoughts and your rundown of the match, Mike.
Thank you, All Elite Wrestling, for putting this match, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, 2 absolute amazing women in an amazing time slot. Right after the first match, plenty of time to go the distance. We weren't rushed with not that much time left, having to still squeeze in a main event. I really appreciated that. I think that it showed just how important this match was to the women's division and to AEW as a whole. So thank you to AEW for doing that, because I really liked how much time these girls got. And This was an awesome match, in my opinion. I think we saw just how far Dr. Britt Baker has come. She was doing some great moves, some great submission maneuvers. Again, she looked stronger, like we mentioned last week. They were going back and forth, fighting on the outside, throwing each other into guardrails, throwing each other into the apron, hitting some brutal moves. Thunder Rosa hit 2 Death Valley drivers. One was on the entrance ramp, and Shivani mentioned you don't train to land like that in wrestling school, but Britt took it like a champ. She was also hitting some big knee strikes to Thunder Rosa's head, which I thought was interesting. And I will say this, Britt Baker has an excellent sling blade, which is Hiroshi Tanahashi's famous move. She does it well, maybe just as well as Tanahashi. I really like that move that Britt Baker does. She hit an air raid, which was an awesome move. I wrote down kind of holy crap during this because Thunder Rosa kicked out at 2, and this was when it was really picking up towards the end. I didn't know who was going to win, but we had some interference from Reba, Rebel, Britt Baker's accomplice, whatever you want to call her. She kind of distracted Thunder Rosa a little bit, which allowed Britt Baker to kind of get the advantage here. Rebel ripped off the turnbuckle pad, and Britt smashed Thunder Rosa's face into it, which knocked her out immediately. She was able to
so well.
Sold it well. Great job to Thunder Rosa for that. She was knocked out, and Britt was able to put in the lockjaw with her glove, kind of putting it on the tongue region, which is what mandible claw from Mick Foley, which that hurts. My cousin, who is a follower of my page, and if he's watching this, I just want to say, he did this to me when I was younger because he's bigger than me, and he was a dick, and that hurt. But Britt locked in the lockjaw, and the referee, I think Paul Turner, he called the match. So Britt Baker won via referee stoppage. We had a dirty finish with cheating from Rebel and that turnbuckle spot, and we had a referee stoppage. So Thunder Rosa is not done, in my opinion. What did you think about this classic?
This was a very, very good match. Like we said, it was much needed for the women to be respected finally, given this kind of time to go. These are, maybe one of the best performers in the women's division currently in Thunder Rosa against the face of the women's division, Britt Baker, the biggest character, so to speak. I loved throughout the match where, even from the jump, Britt Baker was trying to get the lockjaw on Thunder Rosa. And then funny enough, she battled trying to get that on throughout the final stages of the match. And then eventually when she applied it, it didn't matter because Thunder Rosa was completely knocked out from hitting the turnbuckle. So yeah, this is a dirty finish, but a big win for Britt Baker, especially going into what we're going to get, which is the AEW Women's tournament to determine this new champion.
Which we will get a new champion. I'm pretty sure.
That's why I said new champion, because I'm pretty sure we're going to get a new champion. But
whenever you have an eliminator tournament, you kind of got a new champion. But we'll get to that after we go over this match, because that's interesting in and of itself. But I agree with everything you said. I really, really enjoyed this match. I was really into it. And for those of you that watched AEW Dark this Tuesday, you know that we really had a lot of build-up in the women's division. We had more women's matches on AEW Dark than men's matches, and they were really, really solid. I think this division is coming together. There's a lot of stars. There's a lot of people that I'm really into, that I root for, and I'm pumped about it. And I'm pumped about this match also. I rated it highly. I liked it.
Yeah. I give this match 3 stars, 3/4, so 3.75 stars. Yeah.
3.7. I gave it a 4.5, so we're like half off, but that's fine. I rate what I like, you guys. So I was happy to see this. I'm a big fan of Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, and they did all the things I wanted to see in the match, and it was competitive. And I'm a sucker for near falls. I think I figured that out. When you kick out at 2.75, it's crazy, and I go. So I like this match, man. I'm glad to see it. I hope this is setting a trend for the future of how the women's matches should be. Because if you do it like this, you put it in a good time slot, you give them enough time, nobody can complain, right?
Yeah, and you let the best talents do what they do best. Quickly, obviously, we mentioned the women's eliminator tournament.
Let's go over that.
Let's just quickly mention, some notable names in there on the American side and the Japanese side. Funny to see Riho is actually on the American side of the brackets, but Maxi Ito from on the Japanese side of the Maki Ito from the Japanese side of the brackets. Someone that's becoming she's an absolute star in Japan. Can't wait to see her in AEW. Anyone from the American side of the brackets or the Japanese side that you want to highlight?
Well, I'm a big fan of Japanese wrestling, both men and women. So I was pumped for the announcement of the Japanese side. Yuka Sakazaki, great star. She's appeared before in AEW. She's the current princess of Princess Champions, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, which is under Cyberfight, Pro Wrestling Noah and DDT. She's a star, and I think she's going to go deep into this tournament. We also got Aja Kong, who is just probably the biggest legend in Japanese women's wrestling. She's had amazing matches. She's brutal. So go look her up. In like the 90s and early 2000s. She could still go, though. So I'm really pumped to see her. Emi Sakura, she's from Tokyo Joshi Pro 2. And then I was excited to see Vini, who's also known as Asuka. So not the WWE Asuka, but Vini. She's from Tokyo Joshi Pro and the independent circuit. And she actually holds one of my favorite belts, the FMW, Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling World Independent Junior Heavyweight Championship. I got this belt custom made by Americano Championship Belts because it's just such a unique belt. It was fought for in the 90s by like Sabu, and now it might come on AEW. I don't know. I was pumped to see that. But I think the most interesting thing about this whole thing, and I want your opinion on this because I don't know. I thought that they were coming to the U.S. to fight. It doesn't seem like they are. It said it would emanate from Japan. So are we having an AEW ring set up in Japan and then just recorded there? Like, what do you think?
That's what I think, especially for these preliminary stages. Maybe when we get closer to the finals, because if they're going to have to come to America, I'm guessing they're going to have to quarantine and stuff anyway. So
it's 1 month to quarantine. Yeah. Yep.
They will probably do what they can, like as soon as possible, and run through the whole, all the Japanese side of the brackets probably will all happen in 1 day. Let's be honest, like 2 days max. And then whoever progresses will then come over to America. So they've got that time to quarantine before they go on TV for AEW.
So you're right about that. And I think so too. We'll probably get maybe the semi or finalists coming over. So I think that Tokyo Joshi Pro, again, a lot of these stars are from that promotion. I think they will probably assist with putting on this show. And you know what? I think this is so cool because where does Tokyo Joshi Pro do a lot of their shows? Korakuen Hall, which is like the holy grail of Japanese wrestling. Imagine an AEW ring in Korakuen Hall. That is, I'm pumped for this, and I'm going with I'm rooting for Aja Kong and Ito. What about you?
Yeah, I think for me it's got to be Ito, but it depends. In terms of winning the tournament is one thing. The winner, how likely are they going to now move to America and be the AEW Women's Champions?
Well, Ito said along with that, she tweeted out that it was her lifelong dream to wrestle in America, and it's her dream to wrestle in AEW. So, yeah, I think Aja Kong's a little older, but for sure. And in the American side, we got some great stars too. Anna Jay, Tay Conti. I wanted to see Ivelisse on there, but she's not. No. I'm pissed, but I'm excited for this, man. So we had the Britt Baker Thunder Rosa match. We had some great matches on Dark. And now this announcement of the Women's Eliminator Tournament, USA versus Japan. It's looking up for the women's division in All Elite Wrestling.
Exactly how it should be looking. So it's good. Guys, we're about halfway through the show. So I'll just give you a nice, polite reminder to please smash the like button if you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on YouTube. And if you are listening on your podcast platform of choice, please remember to subscribe and follow the Elite Maniac podcast Please leave us a 5-star review as well. Let people know that this is the destination for all things AEW in your ears, in the airwaves, and all of that. Let's crack on, Mike. We got Hangman Page teaming with Matt Hardy to take on Chaos Project, Luther and Serpentico. You want to take us through this match?
Sure. But before I do that, I got a little present for myself for the finals of the Eliminator Tournament. Some Japanese whiskey. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, Hangman Page and Matt Hardy, a little bit weird of why they teamed up. And I didn't know this. I had to do some digging. I don't know why I forgot. I got a lot going on. I'm in law school, stuff like that. I forgot that Chaos Project went out last week and ruined -1 Brody Lee Jr.'s birthday party. Yeah. So Hangman Page, in an attempt to make good with the Dark Order, because Anna Jay, on being the Elite this week, literally told them off, said to get the fuck out of this room. We don't want to deal with you anymore. Sorry about that, people. So Adam Page teamed up with Matt. One-time deal. Didn't want to be a partner with him. And it was a quick match. I mean, they pretty much dominated Chaos Project. Hangman hit some running shooting star press. Matt, top rope elbow drop, side effect, discus punch by Adam Page. Luther missed the cannonball shot. Page hit the buckshot lariat on Serpentico. Tagged in Matt Hardy to pin him, which was weird because that's what he does with Private Party. And Private Party is under Matt Hardy. Hangman Page is not under Matt Hardy, in my opinion. So Matt Hardy got the pin, and Hangman and Matt won. I don't really know if this did much for Hangman's story, but I always like seeing him, so I'll say that.
Yeah, I think that's it. It was just, to kind of further maybe whatever Matt Hardy's really going to try and get to with Hangman Page. For me, this was a weird match to have. I think they could have maybe, since this was some type of TV special, they could have kept this till Dynamite next week. It didn't necessarily have to happen on Beach Break, in my opinion. So
what's your opinion on putting Luther and Serpentico on something? Is that what you're saying? Putting them something else?
I just felt like the whole feud is just a bit too random. Like, this is meant to be, Beach Break is meant to be like a mini pay-per-view, So I felt like this match and this feud isn't mini pay-per-view level. It didn't need to be on this card per se. I don't have
I agree with you.
Or Serpentico being in a match. I just think that this match could have waited till Dynamite next week, because -1's birthday is long gone anyway. So it's not like it's immediately after. So yeah, I'll give this match 2.5 stars. What about yourself?
I'll just give it 3.25, just because Hangman hit some great moves, but yeah, it wasn't anything really that special. So if you're going back and like watching matches because you missed it, this is not really a must-see in my opinion. Yeah, but Luther is transitioning from deathmatch wrestling, which he did for like 30 years in Japan, to television. So yeah, I don't know. I think he needs a little bit more time kind of acquainting himself, building his team, Chaos Project, with Serpentico before going on something like Beach Break. And you know what? I'd like to see Ryzen, who's on AEW Dark, maybe team up with Chaos Project, and maybe Nick Camarado, the Beast. But yeah, it was okay. I'm glad that they did something nice for -1, but they should have never have ruined his birthday party in the first place. That's his birthday party. Come on, man.
Yeah. Cool. You want to take us into what was the next segment?
Here comes the bride.
Yes. This was the wedding that was announced when Beach Break was announced way back, maybe even November last year or so.
Yeah.
So, one of the first things to be announced for Beach Break. What happened? Take us through it.
Well, do you know why it was announced so long?
Why?
It was a real wedding. I didn't know this.
Oh yeah, it was their real wedding. Yeah, I knew
this was their real wedding. Kip said on the interview that he wished his parents could come because it's his wedding night. So this was real. They actually got married. We had Father James Mitchell, who is the kayfabe dad of Abyss on Impact Wrestling back in the day. A pretty legendary guy. He was the officiator, whatever you want to call it. Kip walked down the aisle. Tuxedo, best man, Miro next to him, and butler Charles Taylor, Chucky T. Penelope came out, and she had this wedding dress that was like half wrestling gear, half Yeah, she did, and it looked great. She looked beautiful. So congrats to both of them. And we had a wedding. Father James Mitchell kind of said some odd things because he's a weird guy. And then he opened up the floor to objections before he pronounced them husband and wife. Miro stopped it, said he's been to weddings. He's experienced weddings before. This is not happening. So then they were married, kissed the bride. Miro gave his best man speech, which was strange. He was like, I'm the gift, just my presence. It was definitely odd. But Miro's a heel. Chucky T said he had a present for Kip and Penelope, the newlyweds, this big box. Miro obviously didn't approve of that, ripped it open. There was nothing in it, and then threw the box outside. He told Chucky T to go out and get the box because he's his butler. Chuck Taylor then handcuffed Miro's leg to the rope so he couldn't move. Who pops out of this fake wedding cake? Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy from the great state of New Jersey, where I'm from. They started fighting. Kip Sabian gets thrown into Penelope, who smashes her head in the cake. Wedding is ruined. Orange Cassidy hits the beach break on Kip Sabian. Pretty fitting for the show. And they walk out. So I guess the feud continues, and Chuck Taylor is done being Miro's young boy. What did you think about this crazy wedding?
There's always going to be a place in wrestling for this kind of segment, this kind of, wedding angles. I didn't mind it, up till the point where Miro started talking.
Miro ruined it.
I think Miro ruined the wedding. Honestly,
yeah.
I think he ruined the segment, and I think that the crowd, when the crowd started singing, what was that song they were singing?
What is love?
What is
Baby,
love?
don't hurt me.
Yeah. So when the crowd started singing, I honestly think that saved Miro's ass
because he was blowing
his dialect, everything he was saying, the script basically, it was rubbish. Like, what was he talking about? I'm the president and stuff. I thought it was absolute nonsense, and I think the crowd saved his ass because it just gave him a break and let him, kind of go at the crowd, get some heat back. It finished in a bit of a meh way with, the whole cuffing, and then Orange Cassidy coming out. You knew someone was either in the cake or in the present. So, as wrestling fans, we know that. But I honestly think that Miro ruined this segment.
Ruined the segment. He was talking, honestly, I like Miro. I've been sticking my neck out for him because I think he's still good in the role that he is. But he was talking like a fool. And, again, this was a real wedding ceremony, okay, people? I would have been fine with just kiss the bride and happily walk off. That would have been great. Yeah, it's just a wedding. But my good friend AEW, Kevin from Florida, he mentioned that this is television. That's not a television segment. So I kind of knew something was going to happen. And I don't know. The ending kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I heard from a lot of people last night on my live that they weren't really happy with what happened. And I don't think this helped Miro's case trying to build him up. The crowd saved him, and that's not good when a crowd has to save you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. Did you rate this segment? Did you have a score for it?
No, I don't rate segments usually, but sometimes I give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I'll give it like in the middle. I like seeing the wedding, but the ending kind of ruined it for me. But congrats to Kip and Penelope on, for real, getting married, and we wish you the best of luck in your future.
Of course, that was the best part for me, that they actually got married.
Me too.
Let's move on, and I believe next was the lumberjack match between Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer.
Lumberjack match, Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer. Yup, these guys have been feuding for a few weeks now. Lance Archer said in his 17 years in the wrestling industry, no one has pissed him off more than Eddie Kingston has, which I thought was interesting. So he really doesn't like Eddie. The Lumberjacks were out on the side, obviously, to throw anyone who rolled out back in. But I noted in my notes that there didn't seem like there was enough Lumberjacks. They were kind of like spread out weird in the beginning. And I was like, where is everyone? Like, can you get more people out here? It kind of looked better as the match progressed. But we saw some interesting spots. I thought that they were pretty funny. Lance Archer got thrown out early by Eddie Kingston and then started fighting Peter Avalon. Threw him up against the thing like a school bully. Lance is the beast. And then all the lumberjacks started fighting outside. Like they were like going at each other, Brian Pillman and Jack Evans of TH2. Yeah. And I guess Archer got really pissed about this. So he got up on the top rope and just front flipped on everyone. And this was an unexpected front flip. So they weren't all there waiting like this, which is what JR really doesn't like. The match progressed. We saw some cool moves, like a full Nelson slam, suplex from Lance Archer, a back fist from Eddie Kingston. We saw the bunny Alley come out, jump on Lance Archer's back, tried to get involved. Lance was going to hit her with the blackout, but Eddie obviously got involved. And we saw Bear Country, these new guys on AEW Dark, this tag team. They put Blade, a Butcher and the Blade, through a table. Then Archer was able to hit the blackout, his finisher on Eddie, for the pinfall victory. So now we have one win for Lance Archer, one win for Eddie Kingston. So they're kind of tied up right now. So we're probably going to get a third match, maybe something maybe more in the hardcore realm to maybe finish this feud. What did you think about the Lumberjack match?
I thought it was pretty decent. I enjoyed it. Eddie Kingston's been really good. Lance Archer has, he's slowly turning into one of the biggest faces in the company.
Yeah,
with everything he's been involved in, obviously the stuff with Pac as well. We saw him again later on the show. I thought this was really enjoyable. I think we're gonna get a tag team match, obviously, between the Butcher and Blade and who are those guys? The Bear Country. Yeah. I think it was pretty decent. It was fun
match. I gave it a 3 1/4. I liked it. What about you?
I gave it a 3.
Okay, we're pretty much on the same page for that. And who knows? We do have like a month, so maybe we'll get this match at Revolution, but probably we'll get it on this big March 3rd Dynamite, which I think is going to be a special edition of Dynamite because after this match, Shaq, there was an announcement. He called out Cody again on Inside the NBA on TNT, saying he wants to fight him, and he's going to team up with Jade to take on Red Velvet, and Cody said he agreed with it. So maybe we'll have Eddie and Lance also on this big March 3rd edition of Dynamite, which really hasn't been announced yet. So just stay tuned for that.
Yeah, should be good.
So Marco Stunt got kidnapped.
You see, when these guys are talking, I kept hearing like some squealing in the back. So, and you know what I actually did? I went out into the corridor in my house to check that my son wasn't stuck under something. Because I was thinking, where's this coming from? Like, I can see the camera. I can see the camera, and I can see there's 3 guys in the shot of the camera. So where is that noise coming from?
Yeah.
I poked my head out the door of my office. Didn't see my son. I thought, okay. Went back to the TV screen, and they panned out, and it was Marcus Stunt, and I died laughing.
Yep. Yeah. So FTR kidnapped Marco Stunt as retribution, LOL. Retribution against Jungle Boy Jack Perry, who apparently tattled on them for getting Tully Blanchard involved in like beating up Luchasaurus last week. So they were banned from the building. So this feud continues. It's not done yet, people. FTR and Jurassic Express probably going to go at it in the near future.
Cool. Last but not least, we had the main event. Jon Moxley, Rey Fenix, and Pac taking on Bullet Club USA, Kenny Omega, and the Good Brothers. Mike, you want to take us through it?
I just got to say goodbye and good night. Bang! This was great, man. And I posted a story right before this match. I said, who should I root for? The Bullet Club and Kenny, or Moxley, Pac, and Phoenix, because these are some of my favorite, really. It was just all our favorites in the main event. Kenny came out with the Good Brothers to new music. They got their custom music. All the belts in the world, the AEW, the Impact belts. JR said, "Hail to the King," which I loved that quote. Callis was on commentary. They invited him to, because Callis always supports his boy Kenny Omega, his nephew. So this was big fight feel, really. Like I'm so happy that we saw this, and it really just reminded me of a New Japan crossover. Really, they do a lot of these 8-man, 6-man tags, and we saw this at the Hard to Kill pay-per-view for Impact Wrestling. This was just as good, though. It was just action, as Don Callis said. that was too fast to keep up with. So I tried my best to write down a lot of this stuff, but we just saw crazy moves, specifically from Phoenix and Pac, who just really tore down the house with what they were doing. Some great hard strikes from Gallows and Anderson. I think a lot of people might have forgotten how good Carl Anderson is at wrestling.
He's fantastic.
Brilliant. Yeah, he's made it to the G1 final before in Japan. He's excellent, and he really showed out this match. Moxley, though, fought back, really just gave it his absolute all, and I appreciate it. Ray Phoenix, though, did you see some of the moves that this guy was hitting?
This guy needs to be taken seriously. Honestly, this they know how good he is, definitely, but I don't know. He doesn't have a push. He doesn't have anything behind him. He doesn't have any real direction. I don't know if English is a factor, a language barrier, but Ray Phoenix is honestly one of the best things in wrestling when it comes to in-ring performance.
Yeah, dude, he's absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, I agree with you. And I think him and his brother Pentagon are having some actual trouble with AAA Lucha Libre in Mexico. They're like under some lawsuit right now with like some subsidiary company that I think owned Lucha Underground. And so Ray Phoenix might have to change his name. Pentagon obviously had to because of this lawsuit. And I don't know. I think it's why Pentagon might not be here right now. He's having some legal issues.
I heard that Penta was having visa issues as well.
Yeah, they're having a lot of problems. Yeah. And I think Phoenix is also. So this might be why AEW is kind of holding him back. But I think that the Lucha Brothers really could be tag team champions like tomorrow. They're so good. Everything's so smooth. Phoenix doesn't mess up. He hit some crazy like kicks, some flips, an Oz cutter on Omega. Just ridiculous. But Omega, again, he hit some great moves too. A gut wrench Liger bomb, which I've never seen before. A lot of V triggers. He almost got the pin on Moxley towards the end of the match, but Pac got up on the top rope and did a 450 splash on the back of Kenny Omega, which was absolutely insane. Omega hit a paradigm shift on Jon Moxley. Cool, really, really cool. Moxley then got pissed off and hit the gun stun on Carl Anderson, which is the Good Brothers finishing maneuver. And then the Good Brothers hit the Magic Killer at the end. Omega hit a V-trigger, and then the Good Brothers pinned Ray Phoenix. So Bullet Club was victorious in this match. It was just next level, really. Next level match here.
Yeah. There's nothing I can say on it to do it justice. It's one of the matches you have to go and see. If you don't have time to watch AEW this week, this is what you want to skip to. This is what you want to see. Some of the best individual wrestlers, Pac, Ray Phoenix, Jon Moxley, Carl Anderson, like you mentioned already, Kenny Omega, of course. The big LG, Luke Gallows, who I think right now is operating on a completely different level. That guy he's moving crazy in the last couple of months. He is so good. Someone that people, I guess, just kind of overlook a lot. This match was incredible. And then, what happened afterwards happened.
Oh my God, man.
You wanna take us through it?
Yeah, and this was just insane. Gallows is on another level, and he's so funny. Some of his stuff on BTE, he's coming to the ring swinging the Impact belt between his crotch, which is hilarious. And the Young Bucks said, we can't really do that on TNT. And Gallows says, I just want to smiz the whiz and catch a kiss. But after the match, obviously Moxley was pissed off. They started attacking Jon Moxley, and Lance Archer came to the rescue of Moxley. These two aren't really the best of friends, but they have had a history in Japan. And I guess Lance just wanted to back him up. He's not a fan of the Bullet Club. Then Lance Archer gets thrown out of the ring, I think, and Moxley's left alone. And who comes out? This masked man in this kind of like street urban wear getup with a hood on. And when that person rolled in, I knew instantly who dresses like that. It was Kenta. Go to Sleep Club from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Legend of the business, really. For those of you that don't know him, he's Hideo Itami from NXT, He's also made his name for himself in pro wrestling. Noah. He came out, unmasked himself. My jaw just absolutely dropped to the floor. I was so freaking shocked. And like 30 seconds before this happened, I was talking to my group of friends, and they said, Kenta's going to come out. I said, no, he's not. I'm so sick of this. Like, he's never coming out. He's been teasing this for a week. He's been sending tweets out. I don't think there's ever going to be a relationship between New Japan and AEW. But he came out, and I was just so shocked. So shocked. He hit his go to sleep on Jon Moxley. Kind of missed the knee, but who really cares at this point? Kenta's here in AEW.
No, it was a fantastic ending. It literally brought the show that was, I would say, about here to just here. And, you know, people spoke about it all night long. I had to avoid all the spoilers as I woke up this morning to watch AEW. You know, I had notifications from every single social media platform, Facebook groups, Twitter groups, Instagram groups.
Yeah.
I just said something has happened tonight. I'm not gonna watch, you know, I'm not gonna jump to see what it was. I'm gonna watch the whole show, and at the end it was Kenta. Really, really good stuff.
And man, I'm so happy for this. So New Japan is probably my favorite promotion. I've been watching it since 2012 when I gave up on Impact Wrestling when that whole thing happened. So you know, I've been waiting for this for such a long time. I've always been a huge proponent of this relationship between New Japan and AEW. I know you and I have been talking about it for months, since the summer, that this needs to happen. And I want you to remember one of the quotes that you said, because I always remember this and I have it down. You stated a couple months ago, you said, until New Japan and AEW partner up, WWE doesn't really have much to worry about. But when that happens, there's going to be some serious competition in the United States. And now it is confirmed by Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer as of this morning that the deal is done. A working relationship between New Japan and AEW has commenced. What do you think? Your words finally came true.
You know what? I think we need to do like a bonus episode on this whole link up itself.
Yeah, I'm down to do it
over the weekend or something. But I stick by my words. WWE now have to be very, very good. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. Like I like to say, they are in trouble with AEW, with NWA, Impact, New Japan, all on the same show tonight alone. You know, once the world opens up and we're allowed outside, these four companies, you know, AEW obviously drive the majority of it, maybe with New Japan, but these four companies can now target these bigger stadiums in America, put on WrestleMania size shows with these different fan bases coming together. And they're already creating a more interesting product than WWE.
Yeah.
So, you know, unfortunately, where WWE trumps them, and the only place WWE trumps them is probably money.
Money
and the reputation of being around for so long. But, you know, that can all change. It can all change. Do you have any final words on this as we need to get to the questions for the show?
Sure. I got something quick. And what we're definitely going to do a bonus episode on this because this is so deep and I think it's just so important. But I got a quote from my good friend Peyton Privatera. He says, quote, "Fellas, let's not forget, we just watched a nationally televised television show that featured contracted talent from AEW, Impact, NWA, and New Japan," unquote. So I'll just leave it at that. We're gonna do an episode breaking down the importance of this. We got a lot to say, so stay tuned for that. We'll plan something about that. But let's get to the questions, guys, because thank you for submitting so many. We got some good ones. These questions all come from the Instagram from Elite News 1_. So please make sure you're following Mike on Elite News 1_ to submit your questions to get it featured on the show. We'll go through as many of these as quick as possible. Then we'll try to take any other comments and questions that were left in the live chat. So thank you for you guys always being involved. Mike, you want to take it away? Okay. They call me Luke 34 says, will Kenta beat Jon Moxley at the New Japan Strong Show on the 26th? I'll go with yes. What about you?
It's a hard one, you know. I think he should, but I think maybe Moxley retains one more time before they go at it one more time, and Kenta wins then.
That's a good point.
I can't answer it. I don't know.
I think it's also a good point to recognize that Jon Moxley couldn't defend this belt for months, and New Japan didn't strip him. Obviously, they want Jon Moxley. They understand his star power. So him with the belt brings them a new audience in the United States. So we're looking at a great bout on the 26th on New Japan World, and I'm pumped for it.
Cool.
Band Mustang 2 says, who do you want to win the women's eliminator tournament the most? I now that you say it, you know, Aja Kong is getting pretty old. I don't really see her as the women's world champion. I'm going to go with Ito.
Yeah. Deep down in my heart, honestly, I want Britt Baker to win it, and I want Britt Baker to go on and be champion. But if I'm answering from a wrestling point of view, it's Ito. Yeah. Yep.
So we're both rooting for her. And I'm rooting for Britt too. And obviously Ty Conti, I'd like to see her do well. Wrestle_elite says the favorite Dynamite moment till now. Kenta. I'm sorry. That's it for me. That's all I've asked for.
Kenta, that's a great shout, and that's probably within my top 5 if I'm to really think about it. But my favorite is still Kenny Omega running away with the championship, and then Don Callis.
That's true. That's a Dynamite moment.
You can see us on Tuesday on Impact.
On Impact Wrestling.
That had me like, that's my favorite moment until now. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that one too, man. It's a great choice. The Elite Daily asks, on the AEW exclusive, Kenny said American Bullet Club when he was talking to Kenta. What do you think? So in this quote, he said, hey, Kenta, wait up. Switchblade didn't tell me about any guests, which is Switchblade Jay White. So obviously they were talking a little bit, which is awesome. I'm marking out here a little bit. Then he said, welcome to the American Club, brother or friend. And then Kenta told him to shut the F up. And that he's not his friend. He's just here for Jon Moxley. And then Kenny talked to Marvez and said he's going to get Tony Khan to sanction a match between Kenta and Kenny Omega on one side versus Moxley and another partner in a lights-out unsanctioned match. So is that happening next week? I think so.
I think it is. I think I saw NK say in the chat earlier, listen, I screamed when I saw Kenta, Bullet Club World War is coming. So in terms of Bullet Club America and Bullet Club Japan, I just think they've got so much material to tell that story. And I can't, when we eventually get there, because obviously we need to cross the hill that is Jon Moxley and Kenta first. Once we eventually get there, I think it's going to be so good.
So good. I'd like to see that maybe at the Blood and Guts pay-per-view when that eventually happens. Because I could go to it. I have tickets. Victor Punk says, the importance of alliance in pro wrestling. What do you think of that? I think they're everything. I think that it's so important, and I think it's better when people work together instead of isolating themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I'll agree with you there.
No, I'm not going to go over that one. I'm a Fat Mark Weekly. Shout out to you, but no, we're not going to answer that. Peyton Privatera says, how do you think the Japan side of the bracket will be carried out? So, we kind of went over that earlier. I think it'll be put on by Tokyo Joshi Pro, probably at Kirk and Hall or maybe one of their dojos.
Yeah.
And then put on YouTube probably.
Let me run through these next lots of questions. DMAC2369, when do you think FTR will go back for the tag belts?
They want them bad, and Tully says it every week. So, not at Revolution. Maybe at this March 3rd edition or after Revolution.
Yeah, I can't see it being anytime soon, to be honest. Like, they're obviously in a program right now with Jurassic Express. Hopefully they make it to the Revolution card in some way, shape, or form. But I can't see it being anytime soon. Also from DMAC, what was your reaction to the winners of the tag team tag team battle royal? Sorry,
I didn't like it. You know that.
Yeah. I wasn't too impressed, but I get it. But Wrestle in Peace. Arpit says, what dream matches would you like to see if AEW and New Japan versus New Japan happens? Give us one name.
I'll go with Toru Yano versus Orange Cassidy.
That would be fun.
What about you?
Fun. I'll go with the obvious Kota Ibushi versus Omega. That would be everything to me.
Winner takes all.
Yeah, winner takes all.
Winner takes all.
And Omega wins it all.
Yeah, Omega wins.
I'm a Fat Mark Weekly. Since we can't see the guys who live in Japan in AEW like Okada, who comes next?
Tama Tonga. They live in Florida. They're probably going to come at Revolution. Jay lives in Florida too. Hikuleo, Tangaloa, yeah. So Gun, the firing squad, God probably.
This sounds too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Ice Cold IG. Do you think MJF plan was to break up the inner circle and for him to be the leader all along?
Yeah, for sure. I think Jericho will retire from in-ring competition and MJF will take over probably without Sammy, of course.
Okay. And IG Wrestling _ Grand Prix. After what we saw last night and knowing Kenta and Kenny aren't friends, what's next?
Teaming up to take out Moxley because they at least share that they don't like him.
Yeah, which they have announced. So, yeah, that could be very fun. Just going to go through some of the comments that are on the chat before we get out of here. NK, Bullet Club World War coming soon. That sounds like a game. It sounds like a game on PS5 and Xbox. But yeah,
for life.
100%. That's going to be so good. NK as well. He said this is definitely a match to progress the Inner Circle storyline. I'm guessing that he's referring to the winners of the Battle Royal. Which
to get Sammy out, I think.
Yeah. He also says that I would have wanted Santana and Ortiz to win. Literally the same, bro. And Arpit confirmed that Kenta and Omega versus Mox and Archer is happening.
Oh man, we're doing a show for this New Japan thing because I'm an encyclopedia with this stuff, guys. I got lots to say.
We literally have to talk about that 100%, bro. Luke Montz says, I think Team Taz storyline with Darby has been drawn out too long. Slyly. I don't even think it's been drawn out too long. I just think the way it's been handled is a bit repetitive at times. So we're not really getting anything new and interesting from week to week a lot of the time.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Who else we got in here? Christian Camacho. Darby and his sissy leggings can leave. I can't wait for Team Taz to kill him. All right, Christian, take it easy, mate. Bloody hell, mate. You know what I mean? Arpit, I'm a huge Darby fan, but his character is stale at the moment. Yeah.
It's like, I'm upset. Shut up.
And Arpit also mentioned Ricky versus Sting. So yeah, that could be something they can do in the meantime, I guess. NK mentioned that yes, they finally gave the woman time and it was good, 100%, well deserved, and they put on a pretty good match. He also says that the wedding was meh, and I don't like these kind of hokey segments. Jonesy Chats Wrestling, he joined us. He said, cool video. Do you reckon they are holding out on Jade Cargill's debut because she's green and they seem to be scared to let her wrestle? What do you think?
Probably, yeah. But yeah, she's probably training hard right now.
No, 100%. I think I'm a bit scared the fact her and Shaq are on the same team. I would have liked Jade to have her first match with someone that's a bit more experienced.
Yeah, it could be a disaster or it could be good. We'll just have to wait and see, really.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the majority of it. I think Arpit's put his dream match in here, which he said is Suzuki versus Mox. Let Suzuki murder everyone. Nice to see that you're a nice person, Arpit. Luke Mons to finish off here. He says, who do you see leaving New Japan for AEW? I guess that's on a full-time basis.
I don't think anybody will.
I was about to ask, with if this is a partnership, is that even necessary?
No, like they could just go back and forth. I don't know. I mean, maybe. Well, a lot of these guys are probably going to establish the New Japan American division, which they're doing now. So I don't see anybody going over full time.
Yeah. Guys, we're just over the hour mark. I'm going to have to put a stop to this. Myself, Mike, we've enjoyed being here with you guys. Like we said during the stream, we will most likely do a bonus episode before next week's review show. So definitely have a look out for that. Make sure you're following WrestleManiac UK on Instagram and Elite News One. I never know who's going to announce it. And we don't know when it will be yet. So make sure you're following so you can jump on with us when we are discussing that. Please make sure you smash the like button on your way out. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. And if you are one of our audio listeners listening on the podcast version of the show, please make sure you give us a 5-star rating. Let the people know that this is the go-to AEW review podcast. And also subscribe and follow on your podcast platform of choice. We will be back for this show for the next review this same time next week. So until then, we'll see you guys later. Peace out.
See you, everyone. Thank you.